Hi, everyone. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Newbes Podcast. I'm Samrah.
And I am Matthew Blair, and we have the absolute honor of having a local advocacy group stationed out of Walkerville Collegiate High School called BEVA.
We're so excited for you guys to get to know BEVA. We're so excited to get to know BEVA. So welcome, BEVA.
And welcome to episode 4.
Well, welcome, BEVA. It's so nice to see the both of you here. Did you guys want to introduce yourselves for the Newbes Podcast?
Yeah, sure. You go first.
Okay. So I'm Oyin. I'm a grade 10 student at Walkerville, and I am part of BEVA, BSAC, and Black Kids in Action.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
I am Natalie Browning-Morgan. I am the graduation coach secondary teacher through the Greater Essex County District School Board. I've been with the school board for 11 years, and I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, we are happy to have you.
We really are.
We've been looking forward to this day for a while, and as soon as we kind of got the insight from Stacy that this was a thing, and I know her daughters are part of it as well, we wanted to have you guys on as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys mind telling us what BEVA stands for exactly?
Yeah, go ahead, Oyin.
Yeah, so BEVA stands for Black Empowered Voices Alliance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And sorry to cut you off, my friend. What is kind of like the main mission of BEVA?
I would say BEVA is a brave space for Black students to come together and talk about their experiences. But most of all, BEVA is an opportunity for change in our school.
Oh, that's fantastic. Mm-hmm. That's something I think that's been missing in schools for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad that this is... How long has BEVA kind of been a part of the school board for?
BEVA has been, I think, running at Walkerville for 2 years now. Strongly for 2 years.
Sorry, did you want to go?
I just wanted to ask a question by saying...
You go ahead.
So BEVA being based out of Walkerville Collegiate Institute, the high school, are there other high schools that you guys are now kind of reaching out to, or other community partners that BEVA has partnered with recently that you guys could share with us?
So I actually was invited to go to Kennedy.
Okay.
And they were talking about their equity group and what they do. So I definitely took some inspiration from them to bring back to BEVA.
Awesome. Cool. So multiple different hands in the pot, but all helping towards the same goal.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's awesome.
So with dealing with a lot of other schools, and like Samrah said, there's a lot of different hands in the pot, what kind of projects have you guys kind of been working on together collectively?
So with BEVA, we worked on a bulletin board. It's called Black History is Every Month. We're also working on a coffee house as well.
Nice.
And we've been doing the announcements every morning. We've been highlighting different Black prominent activists, politicians, Black inventors. Yeah.
That is fantastic.
And music. There's music too.
Music as
Yeah,
well.
when you said coffee house, did you mean a little performance kind of vibe, like the music? I love that.
Yeah, so we even have a playlist that goes every day with our announcements. So there's songs that as students walk into the building, there'll be different, I would just say by different Black artists.
Yeah.
And some are really empowered songs like Glory. We've had
Stand Up.
Yeah, we've had Get Out. Yeah, we've had Get Out by Lauryn Hill. If you've never heard that cut, it's unplugged, but it's amazing.
Miss
Hasn't
Lauryn
heard
Hill.
Lauryn Hill. You can never sleep on Miss Lauryn Hill.
I think I added
Never,
her to
ever.
our playlist the other day. Zeina, Samrah, and myself, we have a Newbes playlist because Zeina was looking for some new music to explore, so we've been adding to that a lot.
There was some Lauryn Hill in there.
I
There's a
think
lot
there
of Lauryn
was.
Hill in
I
there.
love me some Lauryn Hill.
Oh, she's a queen. Can never, ever get over Lauryn Hill.
Right?
Never.
What else did I want to say about the coffee house as well? As it is I'm coming from Walkerville Collegiate Institute, which is the arts. It's just another way to allow students to kind of showcase what they're doing. So I think the coffee house, we're going to blend it into March because we celebrate Black History all year round. So that'll be in March, and it'll have different students' artwork and I think spoken word and music and instruments. So just a blend, and people can come, and I think we're gonna have some baked goods and a movie. I think we're doing movie night as well.
And is that something that's open to the public, or is it just family and friends of students attending Walkerville?
I think the coffee house will be public, so
will be.
anybody
We
can
might
come and
have to
attend.
I was gonna say my next question was gonna be, can we come? So that'll be awesome.
And we are working on another thing we're working on right now. And Mr. Dennis just sent it out, was the flag ceremony for the Pan African flag coming down from our school. Our BEVA group is going to be involved in the process process of what they want that to look like.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
we just got a message about that. So that's something we're always doing something.
We
Yeah.
are.
Do you want to kind of elaborate on the flag, the whole experience, the raising and the taking down of the flag at all?
Yes, of course. So I was invited to speak at the raising of the Pan-African flag at the board office.
Amazing.
And honestly, I call the experience surreal because when the flag was up and we had the elders, I believe they were singing the Black National Anthem. It honestly felt like our ancestors were singing with them.
Oh, that's beautiful.
The moment was just so peaceful.
Yeah.
It was.
Wow, sat deep in your heart. That's really sweet.
It's a moment in history
It
too
is.
for our board. It's the first time the Pan-African flag has been raised at the board, and then it's at all every high school and every elementary school at our board, and any other location that the board has. So like if you go to, I think, facility services, which is like somewhere off of Dougal, you're gonna see the flag raised there. And Oyin was a part of history, so like I'm very proud of her, and it was an amazing moment.
Thank you.
And our elders were there, and they were singing
were.
the Black National Anthem, and they showed up, and staff showed up, and we had another student supporting Oyin and speaking as well. And they actually got to raise the flag and put the flag on.
Wow,
So
that
and
is
with our
so
director,
awesome.
Director Houston was there as well. And yeah, it was a really amazing moment, a very like joyful, but also like powerful and tearful too at the same
Yeah,
time.
super impactful.
I
Yeah.
can only imagine. And you're so young, Oyin. You should be so proud of yourself for even being a part of that. Like, that is amazing.
Like arguably, like that could end up one day being like in like the textbooks and in the curriculum. Like
It should
that-
be.
I agreed wholeheartedly. Like that is such a cool experience.
Yeah.
Kind of speaking on impact, is there a moment in time where you thought that your advocacy group, BEVA, made an impact either on a youth in particular, or do you have any specific examples of where you personally thought that it made an impact?
I say with BEVA, a lot of our members are part of BSAC, which is our Black Student Advisory Committee. So we come to the board office or places like University of Windsor too, and we just share what change we want to see in our school board. And it's just a great place where we share our ideas, our thoughts, and our students are our leaders. We are.
You are.
And it's just an amazing place that we have a voice and it's being heard.
Yeah, so great.
And BEVA, I feel like at our school level, like it's I think that they know that we exist, right? So the fact that we have a group that is meeting weekly and planning things and doing things, and that we exist and knowing that we are taking up space is an amazing thing too within that school. And we're respected. But then also the educational aspect of like sharing this information in the local history, the local rich Black and African history here, and sharing it on our bulletin boards and sharing it through our announcements and sharing our different musical choices and different things like that. It's just another way to engage students in a very meaningful way that also entertains them too, but it's also teaching them like local Black history facts. Like I think a lot of our students don't know about like, you know, Sandwich Town and how rich the local history in Sandwich Baptist Church and Sandwich Town in that area, or even the McDougall Street corridor, which we educate our students on, and then our students also educate others on. So I think it's like that gives back as well.
Yeah, I think also the youth seeing it like real in their city, right? Like
Yeah.
in Windsor, is that where the real history is? And
Yeah.
that's a little bit more exciting than opening up a textbook and like seeing a picture and being like, oh, that's
sure.
the history.
Absolutely.
So
And our history is not taught in our textbooks really
It is
ever.
not.
So
Yeah.
to see ourselves reflected in another way, whether it's through murals at the McDougall Street corridor or whatever it may be, or bringing them right to the sites of like the Sandwich Town Baptist Church or Amherstburg Freedom Museum.
That's in Amherstburg, right?
Yeah, and it's just that it's that cultural connection and culturally relevant like work and field trips and experiences that they don't often get in their classrooms, or sometimes they don't even get it in their schools. It depends on the school, right? And so for us to be able to provide that space and place for them, I think it's meaningful for anybody, not only Black students, just any students, anybody actually.
yeah.
It kind of, like it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you guys are taking the time to try to make sure that the next generation of youth and Black youth are well educated in the Black history.
Yeah.
Because like you guys said, a lot of schools don't have that awareness as of right now, which is so unfortunate. what do you guys think would be one thing that every school in Windsor Essex could kind of contribute to this movement? Like, what's one thing that you feel like they might be kind of, no, I don't want to say that they're lacking, but what's one thing that they could be doing to advocate more for the Black youth at the moment?
I would say embedding Black history into the curriculum, because I went to meet one of my teachers and I said, it's Black History Month. What do you plan on doing for our class? It's as little as a brief discussion, educating the students.
Yes.
And it should be part of our curriculum because, again, Black history is Canadian history.
Yeah. That's what I was going to segue into. It's like it's part of Canadian history, and they teach Canadian history from kindergarten all the way until grade 12 and there on after. Why not have a designated, even just one like aspect of Black history in it? Like that just seems insane to
and you
me.
could embed it in everything. Like there's really no way around it. If we're going to talk about like how we built things in the city, like we can embed it in that. Like it doesn't matter in any way you look at it. But I totally agree with Oyin that it is the education and it is about our curriculum and it is about system-wide embedding that in a curriculum. And it does not mean that it just is co-opted to the month of February. It means that you can embed it within your curriculum all year round. It doesn't mean you have to do it every day. It could mean once a week. It could mean once a month. But embedding that in, and any type of history, really, like if we're going to be real, like world history, we should be learning about because we are an extreme diverse community here and our schools are extremely diverse. And I feel like when you don't see yourself reflected in your curriculum, then you don't think you matter. And for so long, we haven't mattered. And now our students are actually like having a voice, like for Oyin to be able to approach her teachers and say, you know, like, it's Black History Month. Like, what are we doing? Like that takes courage, like, and strength and vulnerability. And I've told her that, like, she's so good at that. It's not always easy for her, but for her to be able to approach in grade 10 and say that to your teachers and hold them accountable, right? Because that's we should, if that's what you feel. And they're listening though. So they reacted in a way that what happened? What was the outcome?
She did have a discussion with the class, letting the class know about local historical sites that they can go see, letting them know about the Tower of Freedom. And also, I met with all of my teachers, and Black people have excelled in all areas of life. So I told them that if you want to talk about Black history, it can be related to your subject. For history, Black history in general. For English, recommend Black authors and books by Black authors that students can go read.
Have them on display. Like
absolutely
have there's a space on the shelf. I know there's not a lot of books in schools anymore, but like make an effort to have them or provide audiobooks or links or
because when I was in high school, like I graduated in 2016, so it wasn't too long ago that I was in high school, and when I was you're old.
I'm the oldest.
That's older than me. But yeah, when I went to high school, there was no, and if they did touch on the advocacy for, you know, Black history, it was very minimal almost in a way. And I remember there was a That's So Raven episode. And it was Corey was writing a report on Black history, and he had fallen asleep, and then he goes into this dream, and they had all the characters kind of dress up as really prominent members of Black history. Do you guys remember it? You remember that episode?
I was a big Disney Channel guy, so
me too.
I definitely remember.
But that's honestly my first time how I learned about that stuff, and that was coming from Disney, right? That was me just sitting at home watching TV. And the lack of importance that showed within the school system was just so eye-opening. And now hearing this from you and being, you know, how old are you right now? You're 15. Yeah, and that's a really young age to speak up for that. And I'm just happy that you do, and I'm happy that you guys have this mission. And it's really nice to see.
Like, when I was 15, when I was in grade 10, I was not talking to teachers at all. I was scared of teachers, and you're collecting them, sitting them down, and telling them the importance of Black History Month and Black history in general. That is fantastic.
It is.
We need more people like
her.
yeah.
I know. I tell her that all the time.
You want to do a placement here?
I always say it starts with one person speaking up, and then it encourages other people to speak up as well.
And I'm reminiscing on something that was said earlier, how it starts with the teachers, but then really the students are the ones that are going to carry that on and stuff. And I'm glad that the student body of Walkerville has someone like yourself, because I think, and you still have 2 years, 2.5 years left there. Like, you're going to I want to talk to you again in 2 years.
Right.
And I'm probably going to see it on the news at this point. Like, I'm not going to have to sit you down here. I'm going to have to request you to come sit down here because you're going to be so busy.
Yeah, start saving your money, Matt.
Yeah. I'm going to need an autograph signing, I think, after that.
I've been practicing.
Well, because it's so true. When you go off to university one day or college or whatever your future plans are, whatever you end up doing, that's something that you're going to take with you. Because I think it's safe to say it's something that's deeply embedded in you.
Absolutely.
And that strong sense of self is just honestly so moving. And you've got to keep that same energy for the rest of your life.
Of course.
And I know you will.
So kind of keeping on the leadership kind of conversation that we were having here, and you definitely demonstrate the leadership qualities that we all kind of look for in someone. What would you say to the younger generation that are looking to kind of get into like an advocacy group like BEVA? Like, what would your
Your wise words of Oyin wisdom.
yeah, like
What would those be?
I would say be comfortable with the uncomfortable, which is something Miss Brownie Morgan actually told me. Because before I met with my teachers, I was terrified. What are they going to say? Are they going to think it's rude? Are they going to tell the principal? But once you just get up, you tell them, you let your voice be heard, your body kind of gets used to it, and now you are comfortable in the uncomfortable, and you have the mindset that I can go up to a teacher, I can tell them that we need to celebrate these people because it's their time and they're part of this world and they're human just like every one of us. Yeah.
oh, that's fantastic.
100%, Oyin. I
Get comfortable with
completely.
being uncomfortable.
Exactly.
See, I'm usually the one that drops like the quote of the episode,
I'm
and
sorry.
you that's yours now. That's the Oyin. You got it.
Oyin's in the room.
Yep,
You're out of
yep.
the job.
I'm taking a back seat.
Look at that. Oh, that's awesome, Oyin.
So we are going to introduce a brand new segment. No better time to do that than now. This is a Youth Matters segment, and this is called Main Character Energy.
Hey.
So if you could switch places with any main character from any TV show or movie, who would it be?
I would switch places with Princess Tiana because number one, she's representation for Black women, and she's hardworking. She knows what she wants. She's determined, and she goes for it. And I honestly believe that that's what describes me as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have an answer?
Yeah, I am gonna go with Elphaba from Wicked, and I chose the character because I think the process of her being born with the green skin and being very uncomfortable in the skin that she's in, and then flourishing into who she becomes and feeling comfortable and safe in the skin that she's in and not like afraid to back down. And I just like her resiliency and her gust, and I'm all about that. And I think that would people, once they heard this, would be like, that makes sense for Natalie.
No,
I love it.
absolutely.
So
That's a
love
great
it.
answer.
Yeah.
I love that one.
It makes me not want to say my answer.
What's your
Because
answer?
I was going the complete other route. My answer to the main character energy question would be Tony Stark, aka Iron Man.
Okay.
Because I mean, long story short, he's the coolest superhero out there, and Marvel's such a huge world, and honestly, he's just the coolest guy around. So I have no problem with that answer. But based on your answers, it seems a little bit childish. But you know what? When I'm flying around.
Listen,
with
it's
that.
great. I think you're getting back to
Yeah.
your youth
Yep,
and
yep.
living it.
If I saw you flying in the sky, I'd report you to the
Yeah,
police.
yeah, probably.
I think for me, I would probably choose Mulan. Disney classic, because I'm a giant feminist, and she went against the odds and said, no, I can do it too. And she did better than all the other soldiers, and she slayed. So
I love that.
love that.
I love it.
Yeah, my answer is so childish.
No,
but
it's
I don't even
great.
care.
No, you're living it out right now.
Yep, I'm
Live your best life.
playing some AC/DC in the Iron Man suit. I'm about it.
there you go. Okay, well, that was our segment called Main Character Energy.
So, Oyin, I know previously we've kind of touched on some of the challenges that Black youth face in this community. Do you have any examples of some of the challenges that maybe you faced, or some of the youth within BEVA, have faced?
I would say microaggression is a very big one because I've been told things like, I don't like the way your braids look. Or one time I wore my natural hair to school and my friend told me that, oh, it looks different. But her expression was, I don't know how I feel about how your hair looks. Mm-hmm. And again, this is what BEVA is exactly for. Yeah. If you're facing these challenges, you can come to BEVA, we can talk it out, we can let this be known, and we can change it. And absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that, first of all, sorry that you had to go through that, because your natural hair is probably beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I know, I mean, not from personal experience, I'm bald, but I know that braids are hard work. Mm-hmm. Like, it takes time. I have a few clients here that they have to book out pretty much a whole day when they want to get their hair braided. Mm-hmm. And it's not something that you can have forever. Like, you need to let your hair out and breathe and all that. So that's just a crazy example. I'm sorry. In your own school.
And another thing is the usage of the N-word in schools. So when I was at a different school, not Walkerville, I was called the N-word by someone who I thought was my friend. And when you report these things to the school, they talk on the announcements, oh, you can't use the N-word, then completely dismiss it. Yeah. And that, of course, needs to be stopped because the N-word is an attack on Black people. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a derogatory slur towards the Black community. And
I always say it's the most ignorant word, and it's the most dehumanizing word on the planet, because it's the last word our ancestors heard before they were killed or mutilated or lynched or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so that education piece, right, needs to go back to our community and to our students and to our schools. And there is a big push on dismantling anti-Black racism within our school and abolishing the N-word. We've had lessons like the 4-H lesson plans and things like that our schools rolled out. But people get inventive in this day and age, and then they stop saying the N-word and they start doing things like monkey memes and monkey noises and lashing noises and things like that, or they change the N-word into another word that sounds like it, but so
something that they won't get in trouble for in that moment in time.
For sure. And all of those things, I say, still need to be addressed in the same way that the N-word is used. And we've talked about this often, right? And it's up to educators and adults in buildings to call it out and to deal with it and handle it in a way that isn't about them putting blame or shame on the student, but sending that student down to administration for the administrators to handle it. So teachers really don't, like, you can say like, enough, that's not okay, please go down to the office, right? But it's empowering our teachers to have that voice too, to be able to do it, because a lot turn a blind eye, and you've just said it yourself, and we know we're in buildings, and I work with Black students on a daily basis, and I hear it and I see it and I get called in for it and things like that. So it really is about how powerful that word is and how harmful and ignorant and, like you said, derogatory and all of these like things that word really encompasses. And I feel like it's been normalized, right? And people have an excuse as to why it's been normalized and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And we can give all the excuses we want, but you know that word is harmful and hurtful. Yeah. And so the fact that we want to give people a pass and all these other things, right, like, is directly not okay. And when we say people give when one of our own people gives someone a pass, what does that say about them?
Yeah.
I say it comes from a place of self-hatred, because in our community, we absolutely shouldn't be using the N-word, and there's no such thing as reclaiming the N-word. Yeah. Because like I told Miss Brownie Morgan, it was never a word that was created or used in the Black community.
Right.
Especially to uplift anybody.
Exactly. Yeah. No. So I always say you're not reclaiming it, rather you're validating the intent of the N-word, which is to dehumanize Black people.
It was brewed in hatred, and then it's just continued that way, and there's never been an okay time to use it.
No. And, people will say about hip hop and things like that, but then you have to look at the culture of hip hop and like why hip hop was created, and it's created to sell. Yeah. And so when you think about the process of like that something's being created to sell, they're going to use things that people don't really like to sell. Like we have amazing artists that are like hold PhDs, but yet they're performing with like, their hair braided and tattoos on their face and all these other things. And it's performative, right? Yeah. So you have to look at it that way. So you have to look at it through a lens of like performativity. People are just selling something. Right. Like we're not giving away the word to be used. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's so many things that our school can do to foster inclusivity and to open up those spaces and to educate. And I think there's a lot of things that we can do. And our board is doing, but I think it goes back to, again, education. Oyin, what do you think that we can do to foster and represent?
I think employing more Black staff, because in Walkerville, we have you on Wednesdays and we have another teacher, but that's it. I believe that in every school, we need Black staff who are there every single day of the week and who are there for the Black students, because they need representation in the school, people who look like them, because more often than not, they don't have that.
Right.
Yeah. And I also think it falls on educators that aren't Black too, that can build these really meaningful relationships and can be teachers that like Miss Gorick, right, and Miss Abbott. They're both white teachers that sit on our BEVA group and allow us to be in the space. They're in the space with us, and they're allies and accomplices in the fight to dismantle racism in general and anti-Black racism. So it's having those teachers also be part of the activism and standing up and also, like, I employ that and again, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Nothing good happens when you're always feeling safe and comfortable. It's real change and growth is learned through getting uncomfortable, and it's not easy. But I always say it to like my colleagues as well. I go, do you think it's easy for me as a Black woman every day to like be on the front lines and hear this and hear my students talking about the Black trauma that they're going through and the mental health and how they want more education and all of these things? I said, like, as a Black woman who lives it and wears it every day, like, you're telling me you're afraid and you're tired. Like, I'm tired too. But you know what?
No idea.
Right. And I'm like, woohoo. Like, it is heavy and it is hard, but I am here every day consistently because I know that my students need that. And who else other than me or whomever, right, to be that person that provides that space, that support. And I'm all about collaborating. And we're all about like collaborating and having allies. And so it's like, it's not just about us, it's about everybody, everybody's duty, right? Everybody's duty, because again, it's the responsibility of us all. And it's us right now that's, everybody is facing something different. Right now, we're just talking about, Black students and anti-Black racism. But I mean, if you look at the world right now and what we're going through, there's a lot of things that we could be doing to help being, supportive and to be active and help, with anything.
Absolutely.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said the word ally, because I think any like non-Black staff, like you mentioned, them just being informed and just being aware of the certain political issues that are going on with the Black community is just so important.
And getting to know the students. Again, it goes back to knowing your students. How do you provide the supports? What do they need? If they can't provide that support, then they can surely come to somebody and say, can we get Miss Browning working? Can we get the social worker? Can we get whomever? What are the supports we have that we can get for our Black students that might be facing this? And we would come out with a list and be like, okay, we have this, and this.
Right.
And sometimes it's not always outside support. Sometimes it's internal within our school, and we just need the social worker, or we need, some curriculum expectations. So it's different for everybody. But I feel like, again, it's all hands on deck, and for any type of movement.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. You guys asked and we delivered. So we're back yet again for our very famous segment, Deja Brew. So sitting down with BEVA today, we're going to ask them the infamous question. If you guys could have coffee with one person, dead or alive, who would you want to have a cup of coffee with?
Ooh, I love that. Okay.
And to that, we'll cheers. And then we'll get right into the answer. Cheers, everyone.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Delicious.
For me, it's coffee, right?
It could be,
or like if
your liquid of choice. It could be sitting down drinking
Hot chocolate.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
love hot chocolate.
I would have hot chocolate with Oludara Adeyo. She is an author, a Black author, and she advocates for mental health, especially for Black women.
Oh, that's amazing.
She loves writing, and she has books just for the mental well-being of Black women, and I love that, and I stand for it.
Yeah, that'd be a great conversation. You guys would
Absolutely.
be at the hot chocolate parlor for
Hours and hours.
For sure.
And she would love you because of all your wisdom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was a great one. So I would be Angela Davis, who is the activist
Yes,
and
yes.
feminist and civil rights leader who's still alive. And I would love to just sit down and have a tea or coffee, cappuccino. I don't care what it was. It could be water.
Yeah.
It could be nothing. But I just think she's brilliant. I actually dressed up as her one year for Halloween.
Nice.
My nickname sometimes is Little Angela, like because my middle name's Angela too. So people just because like my activism, and I just love her. So I would just love to just sit down with her and like talk about her life and her life's work and what she's been through, and break some bread, maybe eat and hang out.
Both of these. Maybe if you guys were in the same coffee house, can you imagine that conversation?
It would be amazing.
It would be. We would be there for a long time.
Yeah.
I would never want to leave.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I was just about to
I
say,
would
you might
never
just be there for the
want
rest of your
to
life.
leave.
Yeah.
I had
I
the
agree.
same feeling. My answer was my Nana, my grandma. She had passed a couple years ago, and I said the same thing. I said, I don't think I'd ever want to leave that coffee house.
For sure.
Mine originally was Freddie Mercury.
Okay, we love
Queen.
Freddie Mercury.
Love him so much because he was such a king. I know, iconic. But I think recently I've been really into Amy Winehouse lately because I've just
We love Amy. We were listening to Amy this morning, me and Mia.
she's so special. Nobody can ever replace Amy.
No.
Nobody can do what Amy
she's-
did. Like
No.
That's just another one of one artist that you want to sit down with.
exactly.
Your
Yeah.
duets are going to be.
If I could duet with Amy Winehouse, my life would be made. I would never.
What's your
leave
favorite
her.
song?
Amy Winehouse?
Yeah.
Probably I'm No Good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one really gets me.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be so basic and just Back to Black is so
I love. We were listening
iconic.
to that this morning. Tears Dry on Their Own.
Yeah.
Okay, I love.
And like all her performance, just her aura, like
Yeah.
the way she was while she was performing. I saw a TikTok the other day, like a tribute act, and
Yeah.
like even that, it was on point, but it wasn't.
But it
Amy,
wasn't her.
because you can't be her.
Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? The version she does.
Girl, don't get me started.
Yeah, we're gonna have to write down some songs to listen to after the
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah, we need to get you guys in on the Newbies playlist.
Let's go.
Love it.
We will be here and we will be on it.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you for having us. This was
Yeah,
amazing.
that was
Thank
awesome.
you so much.
You guys have been fantastic guests, and this conversation, as quick as it went, I think we could have talked for hours.
For sure.
We could have definitely.
But
Who knows? Maybe we'll see them again
Maybe
soon.
we'll be back.
Yeah, you
maybe.
could be our first
Maybe.
reoccurring guest.
We
Who
can
knows?
be. We can be.
I'm down.
You're a history maker, so here you are.
Yep.
Making
We've had
history
change
everywhere.
makers on the podcast. We've had history makers on the podcast.
Yep.
And we're gonna remember the name.
Yes, we are. And that's that, guys. Thank you to BEVA for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Cheers again.
Cheers.
We did it.
Well, there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. We were so honored to get the opportunity to sit down and talk with BEVA.
Yeah, Oyin and Natalie, they were fantastic, and
They really were.
I think there's a very good chance that we could be seeing them again on this podcast, maybe in season 2.
Who knows? Maybe we would love to have them. But we just want to thank you guys again for all your support with the podcast in general. Matt and I have received so much good feedback, and we hope to see you on the next one.
Yes, we will.
Don't be new,
to the Newbies Podcast.
period.